So welcome everybody to this conference on global China in a religious world. I'm David Palmer from the Hong Kong Institute for the Humanities and Social Sciences here at the University of Hong Kong. And I'm delighted to welcome all of you who are taking part in this conference. This is the first two-day session of a conference which is actually 6 days long, which will take place in 3 separate sessions. These first 2 days here at the University of Hong Kong, next week online hosted by the Asia Research Institute of the National University of Singapore, and in October hosted by NYU Shanghai. We're delighted to be holding this conference in collaboration with NYU Shanghai. We have Danson Sen, Professor Danson Sen, Director of the Center on Global Asia of NYU Shanghai, who is here, and with Ari at NUS, Michel Chambon and Emily Hertzman. Also delighted that we have been working together to make this conference possible. So a multinational organization of the conference and also a highly multinational participation in the conference. I've been to so many conferences in my career, and in terms of academic conferences, I believe that this is the most geographically diverse group of scholars that I've interacted with in an academic conference before. And so I'd really like to welcome all of you, especially those of you who have come from very far with multiple flight transfers and everything. No matter what one may think about the BRI, one thing is for sure, through this conference, it is bringing people together of many, many different backgrounds, disciplines, and approaches to the role of China as it expands, as its investments, as its culture, as its people interact with the whole rest of the world, and bringing in so many different implications, including one which very few people have considered, which is the issue of religion. So I think in many ways this conference helps to set the stage for opening up the field of the religious interactions between China and the rest of the world in contemporary times. Something that, of course, we know has been religious interactions between China and the world is nothing new. It goes back to the original Silk Road and even before. But the discussions on China today tend to focus on economics and geopolitics, and the religious dimension is very rarely alluded to. And it is for this reason that in 2017, I began to prepare a proposal to start a research project, a collaborative research project on these entanglements or interactions between China and the rest of the world in the religious dimension. Actually, the world has already changed a lot since 2017. But that was the time when, so at that time, the BRI was only 4 years old. Things were only beginning. And one key issue that I found to be very interesting is that prior to the past few decades, maybe most countries in Asia and other parts of the world, their primary other outside of their own country was the United States, Britain, Western countries. And so everybody relates to the world through their relation with Western countries. And recently, a new configuration arises where a major other is no longer in the West. So for China, it's learning to deal with many other countries, different cultures, religions, and civilizations. And the same is the case with these other countries. So this intensification of direct relationships with China in all dimensions is becoming more and more foregrounded. And we're really in the middle of all this. And so it's fascinating that we will have 2 days and then 2 more days and then 2 more days of intense discussions on these topics. So in 2017, I began working on this proposal In 2018, we got some initial support from the University of Hong Kong to prepare a full-fledged proposal. And in 2019, we received funding from the Research Grants Council of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region to launch this project on infrastructures of faith, religious mobilities on the Belt and Road. And this is a collaborative project which has involved scholars both in Hong Kong and outside of Hong Kong, around 17 scholars who have been working on case studies of different dimensions of interactions between China and religion in BRI and other countries, who have been working on cases in countries such as Sri Lanka, and we have Orlando Woods here, the Maldives, Vietnam, the Himalayas, Saudi Arabia, India. We have Anna here, who's been working on India, and Indonesia, and other countries. This collaborative team, well, our work was profoundly affected by the pandemic, just as our project began and was getting off the ground, where everybody was planning to do field research in these different countries. We also have Laos, yes, with Jos. All of this was kind of ground to a halt. But fortunately, the team members had they had already collected some data, and we held a number of online workshops with the members of this collaborative team. We had some workshops on infrastructures, so specifically interactions between religion and Chinese invested infrastructures in different countries, and that is now leading to a special journal issue of the journal Modern Asian Studies. We had another workshop on spiritual conquests, looking at how both within China and outside China, different religious forces see the Belt and Road Initiative or China's expansion as an opportunity to spread religion from China, whether it's Chinese religions or Christianity, to spread religion from China to other parts of the world, or from other parts of the world into China. So we had a workshop on spiritual conquests. Other than these workshops, we also did a lot of mapping, and this is going to be leading to an atlas eventually of the Belt and Road Initiative. We did a massive Twitter online kind of big data study of the discourses on the Belt and Road Initiative on Twitter. So many aspects of research have been triggered by this project, even some of them that are no longer really directly related to religion. Around a year ago, and for us in Hong Kong, less than a year ago, we were able to start traveling again. And I journeyed to Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and we have Huang Yiting here, who generously hosted me in the UAE and Nepal. I visited in May and started to get some direct research on some of the religious issues related to the BRI in these different countries. This conference really, what I find to be very exciting about this conference is we held a call for papers, and we wanted to expand to, I could say during the pandemic, our group was a kind of a bubble. We couldn't travel. We had our own Zoom meetings with each other and our Zoom workshops. We did have many online Zoom talks covering these different locations. So in the last weeks of this grant, which expires in 2 weeks, we decided to host a big conference, but where we would really bring new people with whom we haven't worked with before, primarily. And so here you are, and so we have some of our collaborators from this project over the years, who are here. Most of you are totally new to me, and I'm just so delighted to meet you all and to see a real expansion and development of this of the discourse and research on this work. we will have these 2 days in person, but really let's continue the conversation over the other sessions next week online and in October online. At the end of tomorrow's session, we will start discussing potential publication plans. We have a lot of papers in this conference, so this won't be one conference volume, but there will be different possibilities, and we will just we will start brainstorming and also in conversations talk about what to do with all of the work which is being presented here. There are other further developments that are rising out of this project, but I won't talk about them today because we're already starting to run late. I'll talk about them tomorrow afternoon. So let's just begin with our first session, which is on Africa. And so basically we've organized the sessions by countries or groups of countries. There are many ways of grouping things. One could group them thematically or by issues, because we could see a lot of transversal issues and themes that cut across different groups. But one thing that I discovered over the years working on these BRI related projects is that after all, each country or region has its own unique dynamics and context that we need to understand. And so by putting the different papers together by country or by closely regionally countries close to each other, it will help us to understand and have some discussions in the panel discussions of some of the broader regional context that informs these individual papers. But I think we should also keep in mind, as we will see through the discussions, the connections between many of the different regions, the similarities of the issues between the different regions. So both the uniqueness of specific regional cases, but also the common issues that run through all of these different regions and cases. I think that will be very interesting, and it'll be great at tomorrow afternoon in our wrap-up discussion to identify those cases. So finally, just about the arrangements, we will have the lunch, catered lunch here in May Hall. And many of you have not been to Hong Kong before and probably don't have time to stay longer. So today's session ends not too late in the afternoon, and then everybody's free this afternoon and evening to do your own sightseeing. Tomorrow, we will have quite an interesting dinner in the tram. This is the old tram that runs through back and forth in the old central regions of Hong Kong. So we'll have the dinner together tomorrow. Okay, so let's. So now we have Ning Yundong, who will be our chair. Every speaker should only speak for 15 minutes, and we do have timers. And please respect the time. Yeah, thank you.